3 hours of talking to this man, I realized that he is so much more than just a handsome face. He was a perfect amalgam of love, sacrifice, courage, strength, and so much more. It was as if I had found that missing piece of the puzzle, that part of my soul that I had been missing for so many years. Utopia, a perfect world that's imaginary. Perfect, but imaginary. But what if I told you that today I have a story that proves otherwise? What if Utopia is real after all? What if I told you I have lived it? And it sure was real as hell. It all started around 16 years ago when I stumbled upon the concept of twin flames while reading Plato's Symposium. It's a surreal concept, really. Humans were supposedly four-legged creatures who once threatened even the mighty Lord Zeus by all their power, and all the gods together decided to divide them in splitting images of each other, condemning them on an insufferable journey to find their other half. But once they did reunite, the attraction was so strong that they couldn't be willed to be separated for even a moment. Being obsessed with such an idea of divine love, my idea of Utopia naturally encircled around building a perfect family with my twin flame. Being a young, naive teenager entailed tons of heartbreaks, and eventually I was on the verge of giving up my entire belief system in love. Maybe Utopia was imaginary. I mean, who knows? It is deemed so by its definition. But then the stars conspired and something magical happened. I met Major Ankit Budhraja, a handsome, eloquent army officer who swept me off my feet. It was an arranged setup, but it didn't feel like one. 3 hours of talking to this man, I realized that he is so much more than just a handsome face. He was a perfect amalgam of love, sacrifice, courage, strength, and so much more. It was as if I had found that missing piece of the puzzle, that part of my soul that I had been missing for so many years. We got married in 3 months and did make a beautiful family after all. 2 of us and 3 of our lovely fur babies, Maggie, Noodles, and Google. Life with Ankit was a bliss. We were entangled in this unshakable bond. He knew the worth of his lady. He cradled me like a baby in his arms whenever I got sick. I used to spend hours in the kitchen cooking his favorite meals, and every time he said "Kadchi tod," I swear I melted a little. I could stare at his eyelashes forever and never get tired of it. We even bit our nails together like a bunch of silly kids all the time. We were posted in best of the places. Palampur, Dehradun, Himalayas were like our home. Our weekend nights used to be spent tucked away in a riverside tent, snuggled with our fur babies. The mighty Milky Mountains and the lush green valleys looked down upon us, smiling with us in every single joy. And then came the most majestic of all, Gulmarg. We had a tiny house right out of a fairy tale with a view of Mount Afarvat right across the window, surrounded by snow. Ankit was the stability to my fire, and I lit up his life with a little insanity. His arms were my place of peace, his smile my solace, his scent was a symphony to my spirit. Our morning coffee used to be wrapped in the morning dew, looking at Noodles and Google chasing some squirrel away in the garden, and well, Maggie lying around in the corner like the lazy Saint Bernard that she was. And just like that, my Utopia was real as you and I. Until the gods decided to divide the twin flames yet again, and all hell broke loose in the heavens of Gulmarg. A tiny spark turned into flames. I woke up to see the entire house flooded with fire. Every corner of it that had witnessed the story of star-crossed lovers. Ankit managed to rescue me and 2 of our dogs, and by now the flames had turned into an inferno, as if the devil was staring right at us in the eye. And just then we realized Maggie was still inside. Our entire fate boiled down to that one decision my husband had to make. And without giving it a second thought, he rushed inside to save her. It's been 8 months, and even now when I close my eyes, I see Ankit engulfing Maggie in his arms, surrounded with fire, telling her that it's going to be okay. She's not alone. But the devil was hungry. That night, my husband became the hero that he was always destined to be, a hero without a cape, a story waiting to be told. But it came with a huge price, a price only I could pay. The last goodbye to the love of my life. Every step of the way, God tried really hard to make me believe that Utopia is indeed imaginary. But I refuse to believe the Almighty. You see, I have lived it. I have inhaled it for 5 years of my marriage. I continue to live with it as I tell you what a man my husband was. I continue to live in it as I tell you that your world is as perfect as you can make it, with your compassion and your love. I continue to live with it every single night as Ankit comes to my dreams and tells me all about his day with Maggie somewhere among the stars. I will continue to live in it as I build that small animal shelter and a school somewhere in the tea gardens of Palampur that we dreamed of having once he would have retired. And one day, when he calls me to him, I will close my eyes in peace, and the last chapter of my story will have the twin flames reunite as the gods watch. And my utopia will continue to be real for eternity. I'm Anubhuti Ankit Budhraja, wife of late Major Ankit Budhraja, a man whose love and courage knew no bounds.